I used to book up a full day and I was running appointments in the field. Sometimes the appointment runs late, you hit traffic, all this other stuff, and I'd forget a couple of appointments.
You no-showed your no-show.
Yeah, I looked at my schedule and I'm like, oh no, I no-showed the client. The first time I was like, just thought about it so much, just overthinking. I'm like, what should I say? The client's gonna be like
Mad.
upset at me and blah blah blah. And then so then eventually I was like, all right, just gonna bite the bullet. Called and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry I missed our appointment yesterday. I'm really sorry. And then they're like, oh, well, since you missed the appointment, just forget about it. And then they hung up on me, right? And I was like, man, that sucks. But the next time it happened, I no-showed another appointment, and I was just like, hey, sorry we missed each other yesterday. And then they're like, and it turns out that they're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I had a doctor's appointment and it ran late. And so they actually no-showed me.
They forgot about it too.
They forgot about it. Well, thanks for joining us on the Elite Sales Podcast. I'm very happy to join the studio by Lynn Jackson.
Hello there.
We got co-host John Bacaron.
How we doing?
And we got Bryce producing the show behind the scenes.
With the hands.
All right.
Magic hands.
So we actually we had a couple announcements to go over. We got the Ethos IUL. Okay. So Ethos is coming out with a simplified issue. Well, it's not simplified issue, but it's instant decision IUL process. So they have their data company and they're going to be able to make their decisions. And, that's something that's in the works. So it's coming soon. So if you guys haven't received your contracting links for those, look out for a link from Emeritus.
Yeah, you should get a Sure LC email. It goes from a top line to downlines. So if you're a top line, you're a manager, make sure you take care of that because your downlines will not receive it until you're contracted. But it should be coming from Sure LC email or Emeritus.
Yeah. So just we're not gonna. And I know you all is gonna hit this part, but we should have prepped the show first. But just wanted to go over that. So be on the lookout for that if you haven't done so. And if you haven't got it yet, don't worry about it. It's coming. Just ask your upline if they completed theirs. So all right. But what we're going to talk about today is actually we're going to talk about the opportunity at FFL. We have one of my favorite agents, and I love them all, but you got to have a couple favorites. And Landon Jones is actually joining us out of Oklahoma. Has he was here, he did his thing, stepped away when timing wasn't right for everything. Stepped away, got another job, and somehow I will let you tell his story, but somehow he came back around. So we're just going to kind of examine what the reasoning was behind all of that, because I think it's relatable for a lot of different people for different reasons. Sometimes people don't prioritize work, or they prioritize certain things first, which is it's your life, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes people also, their perspective on the job itself is a little bit different based off of their experiences. And, sometimes we get into this recency bias and we start looking at, this is the streak that I've been on, and this is how it's always been. When in reality, if you take a step back and you look at it, it's actually not.
Yeah.
So we need to have some get some more perspective from Landon on what made it a right time for him to come back, why he decided to come back, and all the other good stuff. But can you relate to that, Linda?
I so can relate to it, because a lot of times you get discouraged because you may start off really fast and you're excited about it. And you have this great warm market and you depleted the warm market, or you have people that kind of leave you stringing along, and then you're learning so many things. For me, I've just been learning so many things, and I'm excited about it to the point where I'm learning about the IUL. I'm learning about child policies. I'm learning about how to write those. And then I'm also learning how the Roth IRAs and different things that are on the applications can kind of trip you up, because I'm like writing these Roth IRAs for children, and then I find out that none of them went through because I can't write a Roth IRA for a child. So who knew that? So I spent a whole month on all of these policies that actually did not go through, but it was a total learning game for me. So I just have to redirect them into the IUL, which I'll in turn make more money on.
That's such a bad thing.
Which is not a bad thing for me. However, I just didn't want to look bad to my clients, because I was really selling them on creating like a pension plan for a child. And starting out, we know about these Gerber policies or different child policies when babies are first born. And most people think they're policies that are related to college funds. So they get these policies thinking by the time they're 18, they'll actually be able to pull that 50,000 out and send that kid to college or help. And that's actually not true. So for me to be able to sell them on what I thought was a Roth IRA pension, they were all excited and I was excited. And I'm thinking, I don't care that I'm not going to make that much money, because what are we here for? We're here to teach our clients.
Right.
And teaching them would also allow those types of people were my high-end clients from my main job. And so I really want them to trust me so that they can allow me to do their rollover in the near future. Because some of the people in my age group are getting ready to retire. So I'm trying to get them to trust me. And so in that, I was like, I don't want to look bad. But guys, this is what's on the application. This is what I thought. And like I said, I'm always going to double check for you. So I think they felt good because I really reassure them that I call the carrier. I find out from the carrier before we even submit anything what's going on. And so in that, no one ever told me that I couldn't write the Roth IRA until all of the documents were completed. And then the underwriter called and said, no, this can't happen. I'm like, oh.
No.
So it is a learning game, and I'm super excited about it. I totally I'm thankful for my main job right now because
which is what? So people have some context.
I'm a business owner. I own a hair salon, and I'm also a property manager of that. So I have people who work for me. So I'm really busy during the week. I feel like I have 2 full-time jobs with insurance. I was thinking, oh, I'll just do this part-time. But when you're learning something and you're passionate about it, it is something that I just can't just halfway do. So I find myself spending a whole lot of hours just really reading and finding out what I can do wrong. Because the worst thing for me is to have these clients that have trusted me with their hair for 30 years. And then all of a sudden I'm telling them, this is what I have. I have these policies for myself, and, they want what I have. And so I'm thankful that, my reputation precedes me in that way. So I'm just excited.
Well, one thing I've always noticed about Linda is from the time she came in, even before she wrote a single policy, her entire focus was always literacy on financial matters for people in her community, people that she knows, her circles, like everything was always like, I just want to educate people about how to do better with their finances, which I thought was a great thing. It's a great place to start as far as, driving, rather than just focus on making money. If you focus on making money, then, it loses luster after a little bit, and it's not a good long-term plan for that alone. I mean, you can think about what the money will do for you. If you have like bigger plans for it, that'll definitely help. But
yes,
but speaking of making that mistake, which we've all made mistakes along the way, because John and I laugh about our mistakes all the time. Because sometimes we're like, oh, I thought I made the sale, but apparently I didn't hit submit or something stupid. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, anything to help support the algorithm so we can continue to bring you more valuable content and continue to be part of your lives. Also, if you don't feel that it's providing you that much support since you're already at this point, like and subscribe anyway.
I did like 5 apps. This 2 weeks ago, and I'm all like, I'm checking up on my following apps. Like, what's going on? I don't even see it on the pending business. It's like, so I'm not getting paid on it. And I'm all like, oh, okay. 1 was an annuity, 4 was like IULs, and I'm all like, where's all these applications? It's been 10 days, 8 to 9 days on a Thursday, right? I check on my application. It's like, yeah, all signatures are completed. You just have to click finish and submit it to the company, the carrier. I'm all like, oh,
yes,
I got a couple of thousand pending.
Yes, they are. They're
Happens.
totally different from
each application makes a big
and each company, they have so many different little syncrasies that you have to know, and in order to do it,
you learn by trial by error.
Exactly. So I definitely understand that. But I'm super excited now that now I have some people up under me. I'm thankful that my son has come on board, and he's like my smart kid. So I'm just really trying to feed him and get him, the knowledge that he needs. And we're going to be soliciting Albert because his dad, my ex-husband, has retired, and he's just sitting on his 401k. And he's like, Linda, I just don't want to look at it. And I'm like, you're not looking at it, but that doesn't mean that you're losing money, you know? And I just don't want you to do that, you know? And I know I'm not his wife, and I love his now wife, but you know, the most important thing, as Albert said to me, is just really guiding people in a way where it's like, it doesn't make sense for you to just sit there and you're losing money. He has a pension and he also has 401. So he's living off the pension, but we can do a rollover for that 401k. So I want his son to do it. So I think that would be really special to
That's
have
awesome.
his own son write his rollover. And so we're gonna ask the big guy to help us with that. So
Well, that's quite a common situation too. I think a lot of times people have family members or
Yeah.
people in their immediate circle that have an existing 401k from all their time working, and then they don't want to look at it, they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to deal with it. So then at least if you can get to be like, hey, I don't know about for sure if I can help you, but there's a couple plans that might be really well suited for you. Just give it a chance. Let's just review it. If I can help you, great. If not, keep it where it's at. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm just you want to get that conversation going at the very least. And as far as Daryl, I think Landon, you know, the type of people that he's working with now, I think it's gonna help. It's gonna help you guys a lot. So we'll circle back around to that.
yeah.
You know, we're not gonna keep them holding for too much longer, but I just want to ask you real quick. You know, so you messed up with those
Yes.
Roth IRAs, which you thought you could write, then you couldn't write. So it was a mistake.
Yes.
You know, but how do you best handle these situations? Because people they just make mistakes all the time, which is fine. But you can handle one in a few ways. Either you can ignore it and just be like, I messed it up. They're never going to want to work with me again. I can just ignore it. Or two, I can lie. I can be like, I see what happened was, you know, the carrier, you know, this and that, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And then obviously you can take some responsibility. Like, how did you handle it and how did it work out?
I kind of split the responsibility. I definitely called the carrier first to see why the system allowed me to do the whole thing. So I asked them, you know, why did this happen? She said, well, the application is a general application. The difference was I had to pull and have wet signatures. So I had done all of that. I had sent it through the mail. Of course, I paid extra because these are, you know, really serious documents. So I paid for the next day air and all of those things for the client to get it and then return it back. So it was a lot more work for it. But in the application, the client too saw that there was a check mark for Roth IRA. So I just told him, listen, you know, we're creating multiple streams of income. So that was how I sold it anyway. And that's what I talk to them about all the time, is just creating multiple streams of income. Yes, we want to pile in a lot of things on insurance because insurance is so protected, but we don't want to also sell them on just putting everything into insurance. So I've always talked to them about multiple streams of income and how that actually works for us. And 7 is always my number. It's like, if you can just have 7 different things coming in, then you're going to be set and you ain't going to have to worry about anything. So with that, I took responsibility on my part of it, but I also told them that I called in and what I found was
You got wrong information from them also.
from the carrier. Exactly.
Okay.
And then I steered them into an IUL.
Okay.
And I told them, you know, let me just send you now an illustration on what an IUL can do, which still would be a stream of income for that child who's only 0 years old and the 18-year-old as well. So it was a win-win, I feel, but I just wanted to create like a whole new idea for people to say, hey, listen, you know, you can create a pension before you even get a job. I mean, how great would that be, you know?
But when you suggested the IUL as an alternative, they were open to the idea. I mean,
they were
receptive.
open because the IUL is also something that I want to go into the schools and teach. So they also knew that I had talked to them also about how an IUL is an open door.
Sure.
So it's very liquidable. You can use it for, you know, like a 529 plan for college. There's no limitations to it. Some people were like, well, maybe I don't want to do that because I kind of like the 529 plan. I want the mother, this would be the grandmother, I want the mother to not be able to use it for anything other than college for my grandchild. So they kind of passed on the IUL, but I ended up selling her on a policy for herself. So.
And just to make the distinction for everyone out there watching, I mean, clearly there's a difference between an IRA and an IUL. You know, IUL is an insurance product. It has a life insurance component to it. You know, Linda's brought up that a bunch of times, and even though like I know how it works, like I'm in insurance, so I stick to insurance myself personally, and I just know that, you know, there's upside to build your cash value through there. It's gonna be non-reportable tax-free income. It gives you that the insurance, life insurance that's added that an IRA does not have to offer. So I mean, they're different products. So you just got to kind of make that distinction to the client, and then obviously learn how to structure it the proper way depending on what the client needs. And then if you don't know what you're doing, call the carrier and ask, or call one of your uplines and ask. And I think if you can do that, I mean, it's still a great product and it's still a great solution for them.
Accumulation. So that's the thing. The IUL we can't write for an 18-year-old. So for a 0-year-old child, you can do an accumulation IUL. And so that's a fully underwritten IUL. But I don't think they have to draw blood.
No, so. IUL Express is a simplified issue IUL.
Yeah.
Which, like, Ethos is going to be coming out with something that requires no blood and urine and all that stuff too.
Good. So that's that. That's what happened. No one was mad, so I'm happy about that.
That's a good thing.
Well, I think a key to remember whenever we mess up, and I've messed up plenty, and I'm going to continue to mess up. I think the key to remember is like that client didn't buy because of the company or because of that one specific product. They bought because of you mainly. Yeah. And then the thing is, like, if you just let them know, hey, I messed up. Here's what happened. Here's what's going to happen next. You know, do you mind if we do this? Blah blah blah. Present it to them. And if you don't address it, you're going to lose it anyway. Mm-hmm. So like, why not just be honest with them? Because I can't promise I'm not going to mess up with them again, but I can promise them I'm going to continue to make the effort until I get the job done for them. And that's something that, you know, we can deliver on. So how do you handle the situations when you mess up? How do you deal with the client, and are they open?
You just got to identify, you know, how bad did you mess up? Do you need to confess the mess up? Right? Or can you roll it over? Like, oh yeah, carrier's taking some time to underwrite your application. Submit.
Why didn't you give me that one before?
Which I don't get those.
Okay, because that's what my fear was. I sold you on the IU.
She sold the one.
I thought I were compared to the
IU. She goes back to the client. They would say, "How come you didn't show me the other one first?"
This is so great. Why didn't you show this one to me initially?
Which did anyone?
No one said that. I was afraid that they would say it, but no one.
Irrational fears that we developed.
Yeah, you just made that up. Yeah, you didn't get those either.
I didn't get it, but that's what I thought.
But you came up with the question for yourself.
Because I would have.
What do you think they're going to say? Right.
I would have said it because I am a financial person, so I'm always looking at, you know, if this is best, then why didn't you give me that? And so I had the definitions ready, you know.
So you were prepared.
That's the thing too. Like, you're projecting because you place the value system on these two different products where they have no idea that either of these products exist.
They already trusted you. Whatever you're going to give it to them, they know.
That is true. They did not know. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, but if there is a real mistake, you just got to create the human factor into it. Hey, I messed up. There's this thing I clicked wrong. Sometimes that's all I say. I clicked on the wrong thing. The other day, actually, I had to redo an application, especially with Prosperity, because you have to have two apps. If you're doing Prosperity, you have to click on eVista for live in-person sale, or you have to click on eVista e-app remote desk, meaning you have to do the email instead of just one app and you can send it out. Right. So, you know, I do the live one. I'm waiting for the signatures to send the emails. Where's the part that sends an email? I'm on the wrong one. I got to start over. Sometimes those things are quick. You know, you can just, my fault.
I've done that just with this same lady. I remember filling out the application. It was an income advantage.
IUL with Mutual of Omaha?
It was annuity with NLG. Income advantage charges you annually 1%. And so the secure growth plan with NLG does not charge you. The difference is the income gives you 3.25 interest on it. The secure growth gives you 2.5. But when you do the math, they kind of balance out.
Right.
So, but most people don't want to see a charge come out annually. So if we're telling them that these are policies where you won't see a loss, like a 401k or whatever, then you kind of want to steer away from an income
Right.
producing policy because they're going to take 1% away. Now, the great caveat is that you start with a 3.25, but at certain times when the market is really great, you'll go into an 8 or a larger percentage. So you may end up with that income policy being considered more of a, it wouldn't be conservative, you would be more moderate or more of a risk taker. And so,
Aggressive.
yeah, more aggressive. And so with that, I was like, is she aggressive? She's kind of aggressive. So I click aggressive and they wouldn't let me do it under aggressive. So I was like, well, maybe she's moderate. So and then I thought, don't even go there. So I rewrote the entire application and I resent it and told her, hey, this is it. Here's a $150 deposit that you're going to be able to do. You don't have to put in a lump sum and you're good. You're now protected. Let's end this and boom. And so, because she had 3 grandchildren that she wanted to sign up, then she wanted her husband, and and I was like, yes, this
Can't
makes
mess up
sense
the first one,
people.
right?
Yeah. So
Which, by the way, do you know why it wouldn't allow you to put aggressive?
no.
It's because if like with IULs, with annuities, all that stuff, if the person actually wanted to be aggressive, they wouldn't put it into an insurance product. They would just go invest into Bitcoin, or they'd go invest into something with super high upside with and high risk.
Yeah.
Got it.
This eliminates too much risk. And then if you put aggressive, then it makes you appear like the client doesn't know what they're signing up for, and then this is the reason why it's going to get kicked.
That makes sense.
Just so you know.
So I just rewrote the whole thing and put her under secure growth. I'm
Good
like,
job.
secure.
All right.
Secured and sold.
Yes.
Actually, I want to share one last story before we get to Landon. I mean, so speaking of making mistakes, there's you could accept full responsibility for it. You can kind of just like gauge to see how much the client actually knows, how much
Right.
you
Ah.
made,
Can you roll it?
or you can just try to figure out a way to kind of like break the news gently, and then hope that you can present an alternative to whatever you initially messed up on. One thing I learned, and I don't do this anymore, but when I first started in insurance, I used to book up a full day, and I was running appointments in the field. And then sometimes sometimes the appointment runs late, you hit traffic, all this other stuff, and I'd forget a couple of appointments, and I wouldn't show up. And so then, like when I get back the next
You
day,
no showed your no show.
I looked at my schedule and I'm like, oh no, I no showed the client, right? Which I just think it's a rude thing to do. I think it's like it's okay to miss an appointment, but you should call the client out of courtcy and just let them know, hey, I can't make it or whatever. But it was just like I kept running late, and then eventually I just skipped one all over together. And then the first time I was like, just thought about it so much, just overthinking. I'm like, what should I say? The client's gonna be like
Mad.
upset at me and blah blah blah. And then eventually I was like, all right, just gonna bite the bullet. Called, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry I missed our appointment yesterday. And I was, still new and I was still kind of like timid. So I'm like, I'm really sorry. And then they're like, oh, well, since you missed the appointment, just forget about it. And then they hung up on me, right? And I was like, man, that sucks. So the next time it happened, which again, I was working on not trying to allow that to happen. But the next time it happened, I no-showed another appointment. And so I called and I was just like, I'm just gonna do this. I was just be like, hey, sorry we missed each other yesterday. And then they're like, and it turns out that they're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I had a doctor's appointment and it ran late. And so they actually no-showed me.
They forgot about it too.
They forgot about it. But then they're just like, oh, I'm really sorry, that you showed up to my place. And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. And then, we ended up booking the appointment, ended up, going. And so, I mean, I don't know. I guess those are some of the things that you learn with experience. Now, if I said like, hey, sorry, we missed them, they're like, how come you didn't show up? Then I'd be like, yeah, my fault. Here's what happened. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, then you feel like you have to give them something.
Yeah, we put a lot of things in our head of what can happen, what can't happen. We overthink so much. So when I was running in the field, and you get a lot of no shows, and with us here in this business, there's multiple cities, right? So you don't exactly have multiple back-to-back appointments in one city. Right. So I would get no show from one, and I would have an hour plus the drive to get there. So I just started showing up early. And luckily enough, the client was going to leave at our specific appointment time, but I got there early and I got to sell them. So if I would have waited and killed time to get to that appointment, they would have no-showed me. Wow. I would have missed the sale. So you never know. You can just show up late. You can show up early. You can call them late. You can call them early. Some of our clients, they forget. They're usually not doing anything sometimes too, right? If they're home, they're home.
And if they really want it.
Yeah.
As long as you can explain yourself,
Yeah.
it's all it's all
Yeah.
fair game. But all right, so well, as far as making mistakes, overthinking, try to like figure out an appropriate way to handle those situations.
Yes.
But for someone that I've talked to on a regular basis before, and then we, he had to leave us for a little bit, but we're very ecstatic that he's back. My man Landon Jones joining us out of Oklahoma.
Landon, for a second, for you, well, he's gonna kill us. Could you have your phone go sideways on portrait landscape mode? Yeah, it'll be better for the video.
There you go.
Yeah.
Funny enough, that client I showed up early is actually calling me. My client, he's been around for 2 years.
Oh, that's
right.
so good.
You with us, Landon?
Yeah, you look a lot better.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Well,
Cool.
Could you give us a recap of what went on in your career so far and how you're back with us now?
Yeah, man. I kind of just wanted to touch base first on I'm grateful to be back and grateful for the first time, grateful to be back. But I kind of want to relate it to UFC. I don't know if you guys watch UFC or not. But
Yeah,
this past weekend, obviously Aljamain Sterling got knocked out by
Sean O'Malley.
By Sean O'Malley, yeah. So my thing is a lot of times you see champs just get comfortable in the fact that they're a champ and that they've got it figured out. And they just get comfortable. And that's where I was prior to. I was comfortable and I was in a mode to where I was like, if I can just go make this sell, make this. And then I got hit in the face by something. Like I got knocked on my butt and got hit with some debt that I wasn't expecting. And I allowed it to control a period of time. So I thought that the only way to get out of this was to just change directions completely and figure it out. Well, in all reality, what champions do, they don't change directions. They keep going the same direction that they were going. They just refocus. And it took me a little bit to refocus, but it's kind of like a UFC champion. I got to refocus and get my belt back and take back what was already mine, but that I lost because I started overthinking on my decision making and started second guessing what I was doing and where I was going. So that's really, really my biggest thing is refocus and be appreciative of what I have and the people that are here. So I've been dialing harder than before, and I'm working a full-time job now, working a lot of hours. And then also in the evenings after work, dialing from like 5:30 when I get home until midnight. And I'm dialing until midnight because I'm dialing in California. So you boys up there in California, I'm selling policies in California while you guys are out there too. So I'm
nice.
grinding in Oklahoma at midnight. I wrote a policy the other night. I posted on there, but I wrote it. It was like 12:32 whenever I submitted it and got it approved. But if you want to go get what you deserve and what is rightfully yours, you just got to grind. You got to put in the hours, and that's what I realized over the past little bit. As I just lost my focus and I overthought a lot of things. So
yeah, no, that's a great analogy too with the whole UFC, because like in combat sports or athletic competition, a lot of times people may say like you're not really the champ until you actually defend it, and some people say you're not actually really the champ until you lose it and you win it back. So just because you could fluke, you can get it, especially when something like UFC, everyone has a puncher's chance. Well,
yeah.
Majority of people have a puncher's chance. Some of these pillow fists got no chance, but the thing is, if you could get a lucky punch and you could win it, but then like maybe you don't have the requisite skills or the work ethic to like keep it, and that doesn't make you like a champ. It makes you got the championship belt. Let's see how you do and how long you stay up on the top of the mountain. So yeah, that's a great analogy. You definitely had some success here at the first time around, but this time around, I think you've got a whole different perspective on the business now, right?
Absolutely, man. And my production will be twice what it was as a full-time agent, as a part-time agent right now.
Wow.
Yeah. And so what's your schedule like right now? Because I know you're still working a full-time job. And then you carve out some time to be able to run appointments again. So how does that work out?
Yeah. So right now I'm working Monday to Sunday on my current job. I'm a project manager at a pipeline company, and I've got right now, I think 7 crews working for me, 3-man crews. But so I'm working full time, working a lot of hours, probably 70, 80 in my
Wow.
current job. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is church. But so Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I've allotted for after work to work until midnight or whatever time it is the last client decides to talk to me. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday. So Wednesday and Sunday, that's the Lord's Day. So me and my wife do the kids ministry at our church. So that's what we do on Wednesday and Sunday. So we're still hooked up. It's not like we're chilling on the couch taking a break. But you know, whenever you decide to make irrational decisions in the moment, and whenever you're overthinking and you think that you're Leon Edwards and you got knocked out and there's no way that you can come back from it, you kind of make some dumb decisions, and you do things that you wouldn't normally do whenever you hadn't really had to face adversity. Whenever you have to actually face it and look it in the eye and say, hey, I've got to figure out, like, what are you made of? What are you going to do next? And sometimes you just make decisions that you normally wouldn't do whenever you're in that champ mindset, whenever you haven't had to face that adversity. So right. I face the adversity and I'm learning from it. So I'm growing from it and I'm allowing it to advance me. So I'm grateful for the opportunity, for sure.
That's great to see you're learning from the past and making the necessary changes. So what are you doing differently this time around? Because I know last time you're running exclusively in the field, in person. Are you doing the same thing? Have you changed things up? What's the game plan now?
Oh, 100% changed it up. I don't have time to go driving appointments. Obviously, nobody in Oklahoma is going to say, come sit down at my table at midnight. So I've got to work with what I've got, and I'm 100% jumped back into it, 100% on the phone, dialing whatever I have to dial. I'm dialing veterans leads. I'm dialing old leads I've had. I'm following up on my appointments, like people that I've sold to, and I'm just doing follow up, going through, like literally I went through, I think probably 96 Americo policies that I had to just follow it up, just said, hey, it's been a year and a half. I just want to do a follow up phone call just to see how you were doing and see if there's anybody in your family that, and I've wrote 2 policies from it, but I mean, there's a lot of opportunity out there that I didn't take advantage of before. I would just write a policy and say, all right, on to the next one. And that's where, as a new agent, you'll see chargebacks hit if you don't take care of your clients. Like, yeah, the whole mission is to go out there and protect as many families as you can, but you're not just writing a policy. You're ultimately selling yourself. So,
yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, statistically speaking, I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we always looked at multiple policies within a home. It was the retention and persistency was always significantly higher than if only one person had a policy. So if you sign up the husband, wife, kids, everybody else, the thing is people don't want to cancel because they don't want to go through that trouble of getting everyone insured again. But if only one person is insured, I mean, if something else comes along, or their spouse gets something, or their kids go somewhere else, they'll compare at that point, and then you have a much better shot of getting replaced.
Not just that, but the referrals that you get out of it, whether it's a friend, family member, brother, or sister, the persistency on those sales are high. They pretty much stick on the books because it's no longer an ad they filled out. It's a first party endorsement from their brother, friend, mom, dad, and higher AP. And most importantly, you didn't spend a lick of money on those leads because you got it by just having these connections and relationships with your current clients.
Still with us, Landon? You got a.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. So saw a little commotion over there. So I just didn't know.
I think we saw Darren on the background.
Is that Darren?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Which by the way, I mean, so obviously your father-in-law is your business partner here at Darren White, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
He's having a little procedure done today, so prayers to him, and hopefully everything goes well and quick recovery. So is he the one that how did he get you back into the business, Landon?
He didn't at all, actually. He didn't say nothing to me, and he just allowed me to go and make my mistakes and do whatever I had to do.
So how did you approach him to get back?
Yeah, man. I just said, uh, I mean, enough's enough. I just gotta, I've come to my senses, and I've got to figure out a way to put this into my schedule because my family needs it, and I need it honestly. So
Well, those are always the best way for business to work out anyway. Not when someone's compelling you to do something or someone.
Right.
It's like when you consciously make that decision, like this is the reason why I need to do it. I mean, the likelihood of you succeeding is going to be substantially higher.
Yeah, I think everyone has their time. Maybe it wasn't as good of a timing as it was. You didn't realize the full opportunity of the business, and then sometimes you understand now. You take a step out for you to make that same income somewhere else, and for the hours you have to put in. And when you realize maybe I could just make 1 or 2 sales, and then bam, I'm making the same income I was doing for a 40-hour work job. It's big.
One of the things that I've now I'm coming up on my first year or 9 months or something like that.
Hey,
And I'm seeing these small checks coming in, and
Right.
some
I kind of
residual
forgot
income.
about it. I forgot about it. And I'm like, oh my God, I just got like 200. Oh, I guess we can't say numbers, but it's just really a good thing to do that. And then it also reminded me that I need to call some of these people to make sure, especially with the IUL client. And one of my clients, he said he wanted to add more to his premiums because I encouraged him that with the illustration I showed him, he needs to overfund the account to see those numbers. And so the actual numbers is what I remember going back and forth with him. And so I'm like, listen, this is that time. I'm gonna need you to make some payments. He goes, Linda, can you just increase it, $50 a month, and then I'm good for a while. I said, you know what? We can do that, but you have to have it for the year. So with that, it's coming up on my year now. So it's going to give me a little bit more work to do as well. I have to go back through those people that I'm seeing these checks from. And it just really kind of gives me insight on who, right away, I just know offhand who I should go back to and say, hey, listen, this is your account. You're doing great with it. Thank you so much, by the way. This is the time when you can make any changes. Your year is there. Is everything good? Do you have any other family members that potentially would want to do this same account because it's actually working for you? So I feel like it'd be a good thing to do. I've never done that. I kind of remember hearing people say that, you have to do these things. And me as a new agent, I figure a year is new still, right?
Yeah. It's a very simple process. It's just a 1-year follow-up review. You can do it at a 6-month follow-up, birthday follow-up, New Year, Christmas, whatever you want to say. You just call, hey, Linda, this is John. I'm
Albert.
calling you for a 1-year policy review. Oh, here we go.
Hey, Darren, I was just talking about you.
I just unmuted myself. I actually been listening in to Landon. I just wanted to chime in, and you get the one-eyed bandit here. I just thanks for you guys, everyone that prayed for me today, and went through surgery just fine. And doctor was pretty impressed with everything. He said it should be clear up. And so I know I had a lot of people on here that's been saying prayer for me. So it went well. I appreciate all of you guys, and wanted to just reach out to Landon. He's Landon, I tell you how proud I am of you, and you know that, as your father-in-law, I'm proud of you. We all have to make tough decisions at times, and you did what you did best for your family, and we got it. And that was timing is everything, as John said. And this time around, we have a new perspective and new goals, and I can see everything. It just our mindset has changed on both me and you. And but anyway, it's all about everything. We're ready to go this time. We got a great lead source, and hey, I'm excited to grow this thing with you, brother. Thank you, Landon.
That's awesome, Darren. I'm glad to hear everything's. I'm glad to hear everything's went well for your procedure. But real quick, while we have you on, Darren, I mean, So I'm not sure if Landon's been keeping track of your progress as you've continued to produce recently. You've been doing awesome. I mean, did he know about that? Is that anything that
I don't know that he knew. Ask him. I don't know because I don't share. I really never pushed Landon at all, so I don't know what he.
No, Darren, Albert. No, I see Darren all the time, and I hadn't talked to him one bit about insurance.
Okay.
He lives right next to me. Hadn't heard one thing about insurance. Honestly, didn't care a thing about insurance, so I didn't pay attention. I didn't really, it just kind of got to a point, and at the point whenever I had to step out, to see that even Darren was still grinding the way he is, I just showed me the grit and determination that he has, and I was like, man, if he can hit this type of adversity and keep rolling, then what the frick is wrong with me? Like, I've got to find something deeper in myself when I hit adversity, and not allow those stupid little opportunities to kind of take my feet out from underneath me, and you know, I'm just a lot of respect.
Thanks, Lando.
Awesome. Well,
Awesome.
we'll let you rest up, Darren. So appreciate you hopping off for a second. So I mean,
You bet.
hopefully recovery goes well. Arr.
Yeah, it will. See you.
See
All
you.
right, Pirate Darren.
All right, Landon. Back to you, my man.
Oh, but real quick, I just wanted to say like a quick little script before.
Oh, please, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a follow-up review. You just say, hey, Linda, this is John, your agent, your life insurance agent. It's your 1-year annual follow-up review. Let's go and sit down. Do you have a second? Or let's set up an appointment to review what you have. If you're happy with it. So why do you need a review? Just make sure you understand what you have, if you're happy with it, or if new options have opened up for you. So that's the main key thing, is if new options have opened up, whether they need to increase. Sometimes you sold the client wanted to start a plan, a smaller coverage, and now they're comfortable with the premium, they can increase it, or now they're comfortable increasing it. Or 2, they want to add on a family member, kids, themselves, spouse, new spouse. You never know.
I had that with a client. He had a new baby.
There you go.
And I spoke to him and congratulated him because the brother told me my brother had a baby. So I called and congratulated him. But at that time, it had not been a year. So I called into the carrier to see if I can do that increase. And they told me, no, not until the year. So then I remembered, the textbook that you do have to wait the year before you make any changes on IUL. So it's just been such a blessing for me because I'm like a sponge. I love information. I love helping families. I almost overexert myself at times because I'm like wiped out by the end of my day because I talk to people while I'm doing hair. I talk to people when I'm at church. I talk to people with my little kid, Jackson, so he's always throwing me into different things as well. So I just thank God for giving me the strength to learn something new at my age. Cause it's not easy when you get 56 to start learning something new, to unlearn what you've been doing is harder than learning something, so
Definitely.
For me, I had to dive into the computer, which has never been my thing, so with that, I think last week I had mentioned that Misha really helped me walk through my computer. That was a huge challenge. That was the door closer for me. If I hadn't got that computer, I know I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So I'm so excited every time I can get a policy to go through without a hiccup. I'm like, yes. That's almost more exciting than helping the family for me. But I'm just excited. My son Jackson, when we went to Miami, he basically saw all those people go on stage and speaking, and he's like, Mom, that's you. That's going to be you, And I'm like, you know what? I can see that too. And I can see why you could see that. So right now I'm just, continually using this year to build a team and really try to teach them, the things that they can do wrong, because I want to keep that percentage of that negativity when you have these chargebacks. I want to keep that down as low as possible for everyone, because that can be a deal breaker for some people.
Yeah.
And so as a team leader, I'm trying to create a situation where we have win-wins, and we're teaching people how to create financial wealth, through insurance. And insurance is such a powerful instrument to be able to have people join. And so I'm just so proud to be a part of Family First Life, because, you guys hit the nail on everything you promised me. And, when I sat down with you, I was like, I just want to see the numbers, make sure that, I mean,
we're just getting started. And it's really awesome to hear that, Jackson, your son, they're supportive. Obviously, we just heard from Darren and Landon that they're supporting one another.
yes.
So I mean, that's just a really cool thing to be able to see.
Yeah,
Are we frozen?
I think
Or is
so.
Darren frozen?
Yeah.
Okay. He got the fire. He got the pirate face with the lips smack.
Well, Landon had to hop off anyway. So Landon, appreciate you coming on and just sharing a little bit about your journey back. And it's great. It's great to hear that you made a volitional decision to come back and
yeah, man,
reignite your career here. Because I think the first time that he left, I mean, it was a little regrettable because I felt like, mistakes were made, and it was just his decision as a grown man. So I mean, I couldn't really talk him out of it, but glad that he's back and glad that he sees the value and the opportunity here. So
I love it. I'm just excited to be a part of hearing the pros and the cons and the falls and the get back up agains, and and how that whole thing transpires in business. Being in business is not the easiest thing to do, being entrepreneurs and creating what you've created. So to be team leader here and to be able to continue to walk through and encourage when sometimes it may not be, may not seem like you're encouraging, but we watch you and we appreciate all that you've built here. So,
well, I appreciate that. And, I mean, I think the word leader gets thrown around a lot. And I think everyone potentially could be a leader, just to the degree in which you want to take that responsibility for it.
Yeah.
Because, everyone serves their role based on your experience, based on your capacity, and you help out how you can. So, I'm just trying to do my part, and then, I know everyone else that wants it are going to do their part.
Yeah. You got
appreciate
some good,
that, Linda.
Good people here,
Thank you. Same.
Yeah. It matters.
Yeah.
Are we frozen?
I don't see anybody else, so I'm not sure if we're even being here.
Darren, can you still hear us, or you're just
can anybody hear us?
Frozen in time here?
Yeah, you guys look good. You guys are not frozen.
We were just looking at Darren's frozen face.
off.
Darren was the last one.
Awesome.
But yeah, Landon had to hop off, so we didn't get to finish the conversation. But one thing I wanted to ask him earlier was just, so he's working certain demographic. He's working with veterans, and you've tried your hand in that. You've gotten started with it.
Yeah.
What's your experience been so far? And as far as dealing with clients and
so it's takes a lot of patience, I think, and I catch myself talking too fast for the older heads.
Oh yeah.
That if I go too fast, they don't understand me.
Yeah.
And then you can run into some I would say angry people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of catching them, husband, wife, the one-leggers versus a with working with vets. Sometimes they're disabled. Okay, so knowing a little bit of extra underwriting on that, or if you're working with a working vet, then figuring out their work schedule. But overall, it's the same thing. I mean, it's all into your leads and all into the ads you're getting and how responsive they are.
That makes sense.
One thing I can tell you though is that when you respond, when you call them and you requested information on, you don't get a lot of people saying I didn't fill out anything. Right.
Yeah.
So it's finding that right balance.
I like that.
Well, I bring up this topic. Obviously, a lead's a lead. A lead's a lead, right? So the thing is, like, as long as you have leads, you give yourself opportunities to help families out, to make some sales, make some money. If you don't have them, good luck. I mean,
I've just jumped in today, so I'm excited
What did
about
you jump into?
I jumped into Misha's leads.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be I guess veterans and different things.
Final expense,
Yeah, final expense.
So there's different lead types, and whatever it may be. I mean, they all work. It's like your job as an agent to just try to work through them, figure out the challenges. How do you overcome certain obstacles? Because there will be. It's how do you improve your phone skills for that particular type of lead, because they're not all exactly the same. So just you got to work through these things. But the reason why I brought up the veteran thing in the first place, because obviously we have some people that are doing really well with it. People that are on our live dials just killing it one after another, and so it's been a steady source. So if that's something that anyone is interested in, just reach out to us, and we'll be able to point you in the right direction, because there's different sources available out there, and we just want to make sure, and not say that's the only way to go, but make a decision as far as where what type of leads you want to get, and get them going so you can join in on the fun.
Yeah, I definitely plan on getting the veteran leads because my son is a veteran.
Right.
And so with him being a veteran and also one of my best friends, she works for the VA administration. So she tells me all the time when I'm doing her hair how mean some of the people can be.
This
And
is sort of what I
mainly
mean.
because some of them are in pain and
Yeah.
they're just used to being strong. Their tone is strong. And so she has to calm them down because they'll use the swears and stuff. And she's like, okay, listen, I'm here to help. And so I look forward to it because my dad was also a veteran. I'm used to hearing that tough
Tonality.
Sergeant voice.
I was raised under it. So I'm excited about it because now it's really my opportunity because I've created the team that I need now. I can't really take on any more. But with them, we're getting ready to go into the schools. I've spoken to my son's school, and so they would be our first school to go into. So we'll be doing the leads with my son because I want him to not get bored and just continue to do his phone dials and everything because I feel like he's more comfortable on the phone and he's excited about going forward and he's like, I'm ready to take some notes. I'm like, good, because you're going to get a lot of them. So he's ready for that. And me, I'm always ready to be in front of people. So, and then children are always a good heartstring and knowing that I have a teenager still. So I'm looking forward to going into the school this year. So that's getting ready to happen. I've had already met with the right people. The green light go for us. So
Wow.
we just got to get in there now. And I just hope that the team, they're all really ready. So that I think I have 3 people and they're like, well, we're ready to go into the schools, and they're both nurses. So I think we're just really excited about it. I know Daryl will be my right hand as far as the computer, being able to do a lot of the typing while I'm speaking. And so I'm excited about it. I see a big, huge future in this for me as an agent going forward to many schools, and so with everyone that I've talked to, everyone's equally excited because they're like, hey, listen, they never taught us how to even write a check in school.
Right.
Finance was just never something that was taught. So for me, I don't like being at the end of the line with things. So I knew that I was a little misguided, and my parents did a great job with the information they had. And so taking the torch and going forward, I feel like it's a duty or responsibility for me to know that people need something that I have and for me to be able to go in and give them an IUL or give them an annuity. It would be something that I feel I can be proud of myself.
So when you're doing this, when you're speaking to schools, you're speaking to the parents, PTA,
everyone.
kids,
I'm speaking to everyone.
after school or in
they'll
class?
have a back to school night.
Okay.
And so what that does is it just presents the parent with everything the school has to offer because this is a private school. And so with one of the things they are offering is they're offering the parents to be able to start a college fund for the little elementary ones because it goes from kindergarten to 12th grade. And so with the seniors, I'll be able to teach in the econ class. And what I'm going to do with the class is to create vision boards. So for them, they'll be able to have this class assignment, almost like a science project where you take this big poster board home for science, but instead of science, they'll be taking home a poster board that they'll be able to visualize their future and see that. And I'll be teaching them the different things that they'll be faced with when they go to college. You're going to be seeing people at desks offering you credit cards and they'll think that they're free. Because my nephews were like, well, I had a free ride scholarship in football. I thought the credit card was something free they were giving me. And I'm like, dude, no. Yeah. So they literally got into financial trouble before they even got out, and so I don't want that to happen. And so that's what I'll be doing. I'll be talking to parents. I also have a niece that's a teacher and she does the 403B. So she's studying that now. So she'll pretty much be the last agent that I'll bring onto the team. So the teachers will be able to sign up, do their rollovers. And so I just want to learn all that I can so that the students challenge you. So, and with my older 2, I've always volunteered to teach finance. So I've gone in the classrooms and the teachers, they just give me the whole class. They're like, girl, you're good. Just go, so I'm comfortable with it. I love that, I love getting the interaction with kids. sometimes I have to bring Snickers and throw it to them to ask some questions.
Robbery never hurt.
Yeah, it's like whoever has a question, here you get a Snicker, you know. And most of the time, I find that kids that you think are not going to be excited about it, they're the ones raising their hand the most. So I'm just super grateful to have the opportunity to not just teach like I did with my older children, but to give something back. And in doing that, I get rewarded as well.
Absolutely.
You know, so
That's awesome.
I'm happy about that. Yeah, so I'm excited.
It was great to hear that passion, and you're pursuing something that, you know, means something to you.
Yeah,
Holds a deep value to you. So I mean, it's great that you can kind of create that business around that.
yeah.
And great to hear that you're getting to leads as well.
Thank you.
So wherever
about
you
leads.
guys happen to be in your guys' respective careers, I mean, don't be discouraged. I mean, if you can take a page from Landon's playbook, I mean, you know, he's done well. Things didn't work out in a certain way. Timing wasn't right. Took a step away from it. He's back and he's doing great. And as far as, you know, if you guys are out there working a particular lead type, or you tried a few different leads, and then you just think this isn't work, you know, because you haven't seen the results yet. I mean, I'd really implore you, like, keep trying something else, keep trying something different as far as within the business, because you have not learned everything you needed to learn. You know, I've been in the business for over 17 years. John's been here for 16. We're still constantly learning new things. There's new lead types coming out. There's new approaches. There's new techniques. There's always different things to learn. So don't take the lazy way out, just telling yourself this doesn't work, because you're going to miss out on an opportunity, and you never get a chance to really test yourself, because that's where the money's at. Once you overcome these obstacles, once you learn from your mistakes, once you learn how to address your mistakes that you
Yes.
make along the way, and then
Yep.
find a way to connect back with your clients and improve upon that, continue to build on that and improve your skill set, you have an opportunity to do whatever you want. So don't give up too soon. Keep working at it. Any last words?
Just stick with it. It's one thing to become a millionaire, but it's another to stay a millionaire.
Yeah. Relationships. I mean, maintaining your relationships, your uplines, and also with your clients. But at the end of the day, we make money by having a lot of conversations. So however you're getting your leads, as long as you're always on the phone, you're talking to someone, you have an opportunity.
And if you're not talking to anyone, you're not really working. And if you're not able to talk to enough people to figure it out, is it not enough leads? You're not making enough calls. You need to improve on polish up on your phone skills, whatever it may be. There's a solution out there. Just keep working at it. Need help, reach out. But other than that, Landon, appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. I know our interview got cut short a little bit, but we'll catch up with you next time.
Yeah.
Linda, thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome.
And thank you for John. Thank you for Bryce for producing. I
Yes.
appreciate you guys coming on. See you guys next time. Be elite.
Peace.
Billy, like and subscribe.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys once again for supporting. If you guys want to see more of that, please make sure you like, subscribe, click on this link here to subscribe, click on this link for the next video.